Okay, now we're going to go through the calibration procedures for our ProCap capacitance probes. To calibrate the probe, we're going to deal with two potentiometers, a coarse potentiometer and a fine potentiometer, and then we're going to look at the covered LED, the CVR LED, which is right beside the coarse potentiometer. So this is going to be our quick set calibration method. We're going to start, we need to have the probe, the capacitance probe, uncovered so that there's no material in contact with it. And we'll start with the coarse potentiometer. We turn both potentiometers to their full counterclockwise position. So first we'll go to the coarse potentiometer, and we're going to slowly turn it clockwise until the covered LED right beside it just turns on. Okay, now we should be done with the covered or the coarse potentiometer at this point, and we're going to move to the fine potentiometer to dial in our calibration. So we'll start turning the fine potentiometer clockwise till the LED just goes off, and at that point it's the most sensitive it can be. It can actually sense humidity changes in the air, so we don't want to leave it in that position. Now, how much further we clockwise we turn the fine potentiometer is dependent on the electrical properties of the material you're trying to sense. The more clockwise you turn it, the less sensitive it's going to be, so it's going to need to see a greater change in capacitance in order to show covered. If you're for a high sensitivity, if you have a hard to sense material, you'll turn it about a 1/16 of a turn, which is about a half hour to an hour on a clock face. So we'll turn it that much further clockwise. And now we can demonstrate a covered indication by covering the probe, and you can see that the covered LED goes on. The other LED right below it, that's the LED that shines through the cover. When this covered LED is off, the LED that shines through the cover is going to be flashing on a second, off a second. When the probe is covered and the covered LED by the potentiometers turns on, the LED that shines through the cover will be on all the time. Then when it goes uncovered, that LED that shines through the cover will go back to flashing on a second, off a second. When you're calibrating it, we want to look at the covered LED right beside the potentiometer, because that'll be instantaneous indication. The one that shines through the cover can be affected by any time delay you might have set. So right now at a 1/16 of a turn past the point where the covered LED shut off would be probably where we'd start for a high sensitivity setting. For a medium sensitivity setting, we'd probably turn it about an 1/8 of a turn past the switching point, and that would be about an hour and a half to 3 hours past the switching point. For a low sensitivity, we would probably turn that a quarter to half a turn, depending on just how easy the product is to sense. And that's our quick set method to calibrate the probe when the probe is uncovered.